I think osteopathy is a philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the philosophy is more important, and the principles are what allow us to form strategies. But the major principle of thought process of osteopathy is the individual in front of you is unique, how they're affected by their environment is unique, and the only way you can actually understand their complaint is understanding the individual, not understanding the complaint.
We're here at Everything's Connected. I'm here with Matt Harris.
Hello.
Matt Harris has been an osteopath now for 22 years.
Correct.
And you just mentioned beforehand that you had been doing remedial massage and movement work before that. So let's call it 30 years in the biz of hands-on movement therapy.
But roughly, yeah, 28, 30,
thereabouts?
yeah, about that. Well, don't age me too much.
Okay. Everything's Connected is a collaboration between therapist and patient with the purpose of improving physical health through movement, nutrition, and lifestyle changes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Correct. Yes. Or attempting to, anyway.
Or attempting to.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about Everything's Connected. So you mentioned before about the osteo principles.
Yes.
And how when you were studying that they didn't quite marry up with what you were doing and how you were practicing as an osteopath. So we'll peel it back to the principles. What are the principles of osteopathy, Matt?
So I've been thinking about this because of late, that's a very large discussion within the osteopathic community as a whole. And I think over time, the principles have evolved. Does that make sense? So it depends on the era that you studied your osteopathy, what you consider to be the principles.
Right.
A patient comes up and asks you and says, what is an osteopath? Most osteopaths, unless they've trained themselves, go, what is an osteopath? It's
Yeah,
very good.
how do you respond to that question, Matt?
It is a very hard question.
Yeah.
Yep, those principles, that's what I mean by they give us a very nice basic answer.
Let's pause for a moment. In terms of the principles that we're, the classic osteo principles.
So like if we were going to go the body as a whole,
Yes.
And then we go structure and function interrelated or reciprocally related. Rational treatment relies on all four of them, and then the body contains its own medicine chest, or depending on which country, and has its own self-healing properties.
Yep.
It's close, but it's nowhere near big enough. Does that make sense? But when you're just talking to someone in an elevator, or I think they're the best things. That's the best thing to do. I think it's much better than I hear some people say, where they'll go, we treat the same sort of things as a physio or a myotherapist and yada, yada, yada. We don't do that. That's not what we do. Physiotherapists have ways of doing things, and those ways are exceptionally effective. And they are exceptionally helpful. I'm not being disparaging at all. Osteopaths, just because of our philosophy, we do it different. That's okay as well. Yep. And actually, if we accepted that more, I think if you're talking about working in team environments, then we'd be even in a better position, because there'd be none of that competing over this particular thing, because we're not. We're just not competing.
How about something like exercise rehab? That seems to cross over quite a lot.
Yeah. Exercise rehab, hands-on skills, there's crossover in what we do, but not how we do it. And so that's why it can work so well together.
I was just thinking of an example. Let's go like a shoulder rehab, post-surgical shoulder replacement or something like that.
Yes.
Working in a team environment with that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So if I use myself as an example, as part of my understanding of the osteopathic principles, I view rehabilitation in the context of what the patient does, and I don't see rehabilitation as something outside of what the patient does. So I'll bring that back again. If I have this arm that's sore, I want to know, or just post-rehab, what things can I start to get that arm to do in real life and help it learn to redo again is going to be how I'm going to structure my rehabilitation. I want them to be reaching things. I want them to move fast. I want them to be able to grab their trousers, pull their trousers up. I'm not so interested in just putting 3 sets of 10 reps through something. In fact, it's not something that I ever do. But a physio will do that. A physio will actually recondition.
And that will be helpful as well.
It'll be very helpful.
Yes.
You can do 2 things at once. Like they can see me for these things at the same time as having their capacity rebuilt over there. And if we stuck to our principles, the threat level would be less between the two professions, because we could see how we could use each other. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess would osteo be a bit more functionally relevant?
I think so.
Would that be a good way to say it?
Some physios will have debate around that in terms of, they'll say, well, if I do this dumbbell press, that might be able to get my rich hand working better. Maybe. The main goal when the patient walks in the room is help that patient get better any way you can. Any way you can. If you have to use other people, you do it.
Yes.
Does that make sense? That's
whatever it takes.
Correct. And I think that's what we have to do to keep as our main goal. A gaggle of physios are more similar than a gaggle of osteos.
Ah, okay.
Yes. It's like, because
they're more standardized? Is that a fair thing to say?
That is, because physio isn't principle-based.
Yes.
Yeah. The major principle of thought process of osteopathy is the individual in front of you is unique, how they're affected by their environment is unique, and the only way you can actually understand their complaint is understanding the individual, not understanding the complaint.
That's quite broad.
It's very broad.
That's very broad.
But it changes things in terms of a patient no longer is a hypothyroid case. They no longer are a knee pain.
Yes.
Yes, does that make sense? And I think
They're a whole.
They're a whole, and that expression of that particular problem, you have to treat the whole, you can't treat just the problem. Does that make sense? Because you can't know, and I think even if we were looking in today's research,
Yes.
you would see that coming out. So like, let's say we take tendinopathies.
Yes.
So classically, there might be a mechanistic view to a tendinopathy, and we do know there are overload issues.
Yes.
But however, what is becoming quite abundant in the research is that most tendinopathies have a metabolic component to them. So the question you have to ask yourself is, when that individual's in front of you, what is the thing in that individual that is leading to that condition, not what is that condition and then working it backwards.
But it still could be so let's go Achilles tendinopathy.
Yes. Could it be a mechanical issue?
Yes,
100%.
it could be a mechanical issue.
Correct.
With an overlay of a metabolic issue as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a metabolic issue with no mechanical issue. I don't know if you can see the sign behind, but it says treating the cause, not just the symptoms. I would now, this is 10 years, 14 years, I would no longer say that. I might put out causes.
Yes.
Yes, but not a singular cause, because I don't believe there is a singular cause.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything is multifactorial.
Everything is multifactorial, but that doesn't mean that one thing doesn't have more influence, like you were already suggesting. It doesn't mean that in an individual, the biomechanics isn't the important thing, or in another individual, the metabolic disorder isn't the important thing. And the osteopath, I believe, through our principles, by understanding the patient, can move around and figure out what is the more relevant problem for that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's definitely not linear. It's more of a
Correct.
web.
In most of the books you read, they go, osteopathy is an art and a science. I don't think that's true. I think osteopathy is a skill and a science. And how you generate your skill
Yes.
comes from your own personal experiences and how you like to operate with that person.